Hello everyone, welcome back to another stream on the channel. This week, blank game week 34. I hope we're all keeping well and you like the setup. Currently have the green screen back in working because I changed my room layout and I have a small bit more space to work around with. Do let me know if you can see and hear me as usual. Make sure the audio is good and everything. Let me just quickly change this deadline timer 2 seconds. But I hope we're all well. Another big week incoming. I can never get the timer right. What is wrong with me? There you go, that's better. Big week incoming. My free hit is active, and in front of you I've got my Gameweek 33 team, which was absolutely horrendous. By the way, do let me know if you're in chat. We'll shout you out real quick. The GOAT choice says Reese Stock. We got ZJ. We got Artemis. He says 0/ I don't know what that means. We got Franek. He says hi Chai. Hello Franek. Good morning. I hope we're well. This should be a good stream because we have a lot to unfold. I'm going to show you my Game Week 34 free hit team. It's not finished because I'm making a few alterations on stream. Jonathan Shirley says the audio is good. Sweet Jonathan, thank you. So we're currently 285k in the world, which is not great at all. We got Do You Like Mango? Yeah, no, it's been a disappointing season. There's no more plenty of weeks left. It's been disappointing, and I don't know where we can end the season with 4 game weeks left. Hopefully inside the top 100k if we get a big week this week, but I'm not quite sure about that. We've got Sally Z. She says, hello Chai, Sarabi over Cliver, too risky on free hit. I don't mind it, to be honest. I'm fairly sure Wolves are predicted to do quite well against Leicester. We will pull up a Rob T graphic. So we have a few things to do this stream. We're going to look at a Rob T graphic. I'm going to quickly look at my Game Week 33 team because I feel like we haven't quite covered how my teams have gone because I haven't been so active on Twitter or on YouTube. And then we'll do our Game Week 34 free hit team selection. And we'll have a look at a model that I created, which will be quite interesting. So yeah, let me quickly answer some of your questions. ZJ says, how you been? I've been good. I've been changing around my room and with university, currently in the last week of my project, which I'm going to display to you. So it's been quite busy. As soon as I finish the stream, I'm going to go at some more work. So yeah, we're almost there, to be fair. Hopefully next season I can do a bit more FPL, but I'm not going to try and make excuses about my rank, and that's why, but I've not been so active watching football and stuff, so it was bound to happen. And last season, in comparison, we were never going to hit those heights again. How much Spurs conceding, Chai, says Sushant. That's a good question, my friend. Probably a good few. Liverpool always batter us at home at Anfield. It's going to be a tough watch, if I'm going to be honest, but yeah, I imagine they net a few, and it's why I'm going to have to alter my free hit draft if I think a Diogo Jota is going to start. I think he could be a really nice option this week if he's going to play. Oh, it's an emoji. Apologies. Best player if chasing rank. I don't know if there's a best player because a lot of people are going to have similar teams. I would say going with a double or even triple up on the defence could be an interesting way to differentiate yourself. For example, let's just say Fulham against Southampton, or if you like the Newcastle guys, doubling up on them. I think that would be a good way to chase rank. Mitoma over Diaz, I don't love it, but I don't mind it at the same time. Okay, so let me quickly just pull up a Rob T graphic. Let me know if you can see that. It should be fine. That's a bit better. Okay, yeah, that looks good. So in front of you, I've got a Rob T graphic. Good morning, FPL Pickle. I hope you're well. I don't know if you're also at that wedding, but and I don't know who's married, but I hope you're having a good time. And also, FPL Pickle, I hear you're having a stormer of our season once again. Last season, you actually outdone me by rank, I'm fairly sure. And this season again, you're at it again, which is ridiculous. And Ross was saying, I was watching Ross's stream last week about FPL Pickle potentially starting a channel, and I also saw you feature on Ross's channel, so congrats and fair play because it takes some balls to do that. In front of you, I've got my projected goals and clean sheets for this game week Rob T graphic as usual, and it has changed a small bit from what it was near the start of the week. Newcastle now at 50% chance of a clean sheet. Wolves actually at 40%, which is a good chance. Liverpool 3 expected goals against Spurs. I imagine that's going to be a good game. It always is. Chelsea 42% chance of clean sheet versus Everton. I actually quite fancy Chelsea for a clean sheet at home to Everton, even though it is the Gandhi early kickoff. One thing to keep an eye on for sure. I currently have Cucurella in my draft, and I will show you my free hit 34 draft as soon as we run through this graphic. Brighton with 2 expected goals versus West Ham and a 32% chance of a clean sheet. Southampton versus Fulham. Fulham actually not projected to do so good. I mean, 2 expected goals, which is not too bad, but I don't have Raul in my current draft, nor do I have an Iwobi. So do let me know in chat if you do have the likes of an Iwobi or a Raul. We got Bournemouth with 2 expected goals versus United. You'd imagine United might rest their key players like Bruno again with the Europa League. Saying that though, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some minutes just to keep him in some sort of rhythm before the Europa League game versus Bilbao. We got Forest versus Brentford, which I imagine will be a cagey game. It is quite tight on the expected goals and clean sheet ratios. FPL Pickle says 1.3k, absolutely ridiculous. I'm taking the risk this week though, so I need it. So it could be in the bin soon. Well, Pickle, I played that risky for the whole season last season, so I hope it goes well for you, and I imagine it will. Keep up good work, appreciate it. And we got FPL Pickle fans in chat, so do answer their questions. Don't mind FPL Shy, you're having a better season than I am, so fair enough. Where was I? So, yeah, no, I think this Chelsea fixture, I'd love to almost double up on the Chelsea defence. It sounds quite weird, but when I look at the other teams, you might want double attack from Newcastle, so you wouldn't want to double up on their defence. Now, saying that, again, I don't know if I want a Harvey Barnes or an Anthony Gordon just yet. It could be Anthony Gordon, it could be Barnes, but I'm just unsure if I trust their minutes, especially with Gordon not playing in recent weeks. Chelsea, on the other hand, I won't want another attacker other than Palmer, and I could very much double up on the Chelsea defence. Again, I'm not at a position where I mind taking a risk like that, and it would be quite differential in my opinion. Everton have been quite poor in recent weeks as well, so other than that, what stands out? Of course, I'll have Anthony Robinson for Fulham. I currently have Leno between the sticks for the Southampton game. Southampton are just quite poor, even though in recent weeks they seem to score 1 goal nearly every week, and they have done for a few weeks now. Other than that, I've not seen many people with a Liverpool defender. I could be wrong, maybe you're seeing something else on Twitter, but I've not seen many people with the likes of Alisson or Van Dijk. Or Trent. Trent, I don't know how you feel about minutes again, just coming back from injury. But yeah, other than that, no one really stands out to me for defence other than Newcastle, Fulham, maybe Chelsea. I actually have Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri is a bit of a troll though, so I don't know how optimistic I am about him. I'm not going to hype him up too much, but he is in my team currently. So that's the graphic from Rob T. Let's move on to my free hit 34. Here it is. Again, it is going to be changed. So currently, for anyone that's listening or can't look at their screen, on goal I've got Leno. 3 at the back, Aït-Nouri, Cucurella and Robinson. We've got 4 in middle, Salah, Diogo Jota, Kluivert and Palmer. 3 up top, and Kuna, Isaac and Welbeck. And on the bench, to be honest, just some filler to save some money. What are the differences in comparison to other people's team? No Newcastle defence, that's the first thing, and I do think I need to add some of that. The odds this week are just too good, 50%, and they are playing at St James's Park, so it looks really good for the Newcastle guys. And who could make way for Trippier? I think honestly it could be Aït-Nouri. I think it would be Trippier out with that back four that I'd be going for. What else is a bit different? We have Cucurella. I've not seen too many Cucurellas, and I've probably stood fairly firmly on wanting a Chelsea asset in my free hit draft. I do like the idea of it. I do think it is a bit different, and Chelsea do have a good chance of a clean sheet. Again, Robinson's almost a no-brainer for me. Going up with Leno and Robinson though versus Southampton is quite bold. It is away. That's why I don't mind the idea of a Sanchez, to be honest. In midfield, what's a bit different? So, in my original draft, I did have a Bruno Fernandes, but then I spoke to a few United guys, and I did realise that Fernandes probably won't get the minutes I probably want. I do think he will start this game just to keep him fresh in terms of rhythm. Good to see FPL Era's crew in here representing Ireland. Well, shy FPL Era crew here, says William Doyle. Good to see you. FPL Harry has Cucurella, so expert can increase ownership. Yeah, absolutely. We got Maliki in here. He says, first deadline free in a while for me because of work. Welcome back, Maliki. Good to see you. Liverpool defenders being slept on for this title winning game. Absolutely. That's what I was thinking. It's a title winning game at Anfield. It's against Spurs. Now, Spurs, you know, we can come up with goals in whatever week, but to be honest, with the Europa League, I mean, don't think we'll be doing that and crazy in this game. Lee says, trust me, Chai, bro. Trippier and Pope instead of Fulham. Newcastle clean sheet and Southampton are going to score. Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. I quite like Robinson for the upside. I feel like there is a good bit of upside for Robinson. Cucurella sucks, bro. Never counted on them. Fair enough. I can understand that. Morning Diddle says, Paul. Good to see you, Paul, my channel member. I hope you're keeping well. I haven't seen you in a while. FPL Chai, Mbuemo on the bench. Can you explain that? To be honest, if I'm going back to Rob T and I look at some of his projected players this week, I don't see an Mbuemo. And it is a tough fixture away far, so it does make sense. Just quickly, it looks like we've got a super chat from Maliki. €2 super chat from Maliki. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe to this great channel. I appreciate you, Maliki. Why can't I speak today, by the way? Yeah, I really appreciate that, Maliki. You don't need to be sending me money. But if you do want to support us, feel free to hit that like and subscribe. And again, Maliki is one who's been consistent, and he's also in the members group chat. So thank you again, Maliki, and welcome back. No Raul. Since Muniz is out, I'm not the biggest fan of Raul this week. Again, he's projected to do quite well if we look at this list. If you're talking about Sessegnon, I do like Sessegnon. I just feel like why wouldn't you go Robinson? I don't think we're exactly stuck for funds. If you wanted to double up instead of Leno, I could understand. So if we look at this graph quickly about who I have in my own team, again, we have Isaac, Salah. We don't have Raul. Jota is currently in it. Kuna, Welbeck, and I don't have Wood. And then Palmer, no Gordon, Kluivert, and that's about it. So yeah, on this next list of the top, how many is this? Top 40. Then you have Wissa and Mbuemo. Wissa to do equally as well on goals this week than Mbuemo, which is quite interesting. So yeah, I don't currently have Mbuemo starting my own team, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. Paul van Resenberg has sent me one Chai gifted member, and it's gone to Franok, who's always in here. So that's absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Paul, for gifting a member. That's the first time someone in here has actually done that. So really appreciate that, Paul. And I don't think it could have went to anyone better than Franok. So congrats, Franok. And do send me your number on X. I will have you added to that members group chat if you're interested. I sense a Delap goal incoming. Yeah, it seems to happen every week where Delap scores. I think he's up to 13 Premier League goals for a relegated team. Don't quote me on that. I swear I seen a stat like that. Cess playing on the wing. Yeah, I'm a Spurs fan though, and I know what Sessegnon is about, and I don't want him anywhere near my team. I don't care who he's playing against. I'm being honest. I can understand the Sessegnon move, but it's not for me, man. It is just not for me. I think if this was like I think if it was a home fixture to Southampton, I could be swayed, but in a given week like this, I would just rather play Robinson. Mascara, I see you're a man of culture, absolutely. What do you think about triple Newcastle attack? Barnes, Murphy, and Isaac. Yeah, no, you won't be surprised to see something crazy from this Newcastle game like they do. They seem to absolutely bash teams, especially when they play at home. If we go to their last few games, 5-0 at home to Crystal Palace, 4-1 at home to United, away to Leicester they won 3-0, at home to Forest they won 4-3, home to Wolves 3-0, home to Villa 3-0. So they're not a team shy of goals, especially this season. And when you look at the projected goals again, you'll see a few Newcastle players feature. I think the reason why you're not seeing maybe the other two Newcastle guys higher on the list is because minutes. I think they're not positive on minutes here, Barnes and Gordon. So it's no surprise. Quickly going back to my own team. Okay, let's do a few alterations to the team. Best replacement for Mbeumo. Don't want Palmer. Already have triple Newcastle. So Kluivert for me. I feel like Kluivert, with how poor United have been, especially when they want to concentrate on Europa League. Kluivert could be quite good. Opinion on Iwobi. I don't think Iwobi's bad. Don't get me wrong. There's a few attackers I think I would prefer ahead of Iwobi. Why not go for a riskier free hit considering your rank? I'm always going to pick the best players, in my opinion, regardless of my rank. You are right, though. I could take a few more risks because of it. But, I mean, when I look at my own team, there's a few players I don't have that is definitely a bit riskier to your conventional free hit draft. And this draft is definitely subject to change. Again, I don't have... Look, on surface, a lot of people will be default captain on Salah. That's the first thing, so I'm going Isaac. It mightn't seem so differential in the Twitter space, but to the general rank or EO around my rank, I would say it is. I've got Danny Welbeck. A lot of people have Raul. I've got double Fulham defense currently. I don't love it. It's going to change. FPL Doctor in here. Good to see you, my boy. How are we? High choice says Praneeth. Good to see you, Praneeth. Okay, let's do a few changes. One thing I do hate about this is the transfer screen is kind of ass. You can't really see what's going on, but 2.6 million in the bank for anyone that can't see. I want to change one of my defenders to bring in a Newcastle asset. So I'm going to get rid of Aiton Ori. Watch him score. It'll be typical. But I do prefer Trippier, in my opinion. So Trippier is going to go in. I feel like having just one of those Newcastle assets would be quite nice. And I think I could end up doubling up with Pope, depending on if I want to bring in Harvey Barnes or Anthony Gordon. I'm just not sure yet. Would you consider having all three Salah, Diaz, Jota? I mean, I think that is a bit bold. Look, Spurs are not going to just fold over as bad as we are. I don't think. You know, we've seen Liverpool kind of struggle in that game last week versus Leicester. And it was a close game versus West Ham, Fulham and Everton as well. So, again, this is Tottenham we're talking about. It's not any better, but I'm just saying that it could be a bit tighter than we probably think it's going to be. Yeah, so for me, the first player that has to change in my own team is definitely Trippier. The next player I want to bring in, I'm just unsure about Diogo Jota. His minutes hasn't been bad in recent weeks, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him play this game. What's put me off is he's probably only going to get 65 minutes-ish. A few saying that Gakpo will probably start. So I probably want to change him to the likes of a Harvey Barnes, if I'm being honest. But yeah, there you go. Most predicted lineups have Gakpo, and that's what I was saying. I don't think he's going to start. I do, and even if he does start, he's probably only going to get 60 minutes. So I don't mind having Harvey Barnes here instead. Is that quite boring though? Who else can I go with? I could go with a Bone. Amar telling me Gordon, but Gordon has killed me in the last few weeks, and it's been so annoying. I do think Gordon could get the nod this week, if I'm being honest. I wouldn't be surprised. That's why I don't really want to bring in Gordon / Barnes. And he could come off the bench in this Ipswich fixture and do well. So Anup says, by the way, what machine learning model have you used for prediction? Okay, on that note, while we're picking our team, let me just quickly run to this. Please do, for the 120 of you in here, stay with me for a second. So I had to make a fantasy football model for my final year project in university. Now, again, this model is not reinventing the wheel. Essentially what it is, it's just it's called a random forest algorithm. And I've done a model for each route to goals. Let me quickly pull it up. I've made a nice little dashboard for it here. So it's called FPL Choi Prediction Dashboard. So FPL Choi as in FPL CHAI, you know what I mean. And basically I use random forest to predict all the outcomes you can get to goals or to points in FPL. So that's goals, assists, clean sheets, cards, bonus points, and then I have like the total points for players. So all those routes to points, or all those routes to goals, or any metric to points, sorry, are converted into how FPL score. Now, in front of you, as you can see, this table is wrong. I've just have this because I needed to make something for the stream to show it off. But of course, you know, I know the rules as well. Goalkeepers, or not goalkeepers, a chance a player scores. Yeah, the rules here are wrong. I'm not even going to try to explain it. Anyway, that's not what matters. Let me show you some of the results from the model. I'm actually pleasantly surprised, I'm not going to lie. So it is Gameweek 34 we're trying to predict. And in front of you, I mean, these are not too far off of what we've seen from the likes of Rob T. So if I go to Rob T's graphic, his goals graphic here, sorry. How do you get the dataset? So the dataset is from all the way up to Gameweek 32. And I'm using a repo called Vastav on GitHub, and basically you're able to pull the FPL API, and it gives you 22,000 rows currently up until Game Week 33. So in front of you I have my own table that I've created using the model, and Salah's predicted to do 0.82, Isaac in second was 0.63, Cole Palmer has 0.48, Nicholas Jackson at 0.41. So what I would say about this is, look, there are a few outliers. This model is not by any means optimal. Because it's on from game weeks 1 to 32, it doesn't have historical data, which, as in from recent seasons, which would be very useful. It also doesn't include betting odds, which is a massive thing in terms of modeling. So keep that in mind. Another thing I've noticed, you're going to see some players that are unrealistic. And also these values might be a bit underestimated. So for example, Isaac is probably expected to do a bit better than he is. But if you take it for what it is in terms of ranking wise, you know, Salah, Isaac, Palmer, Jackson, Diaz, Jimenez, they're not too far off what we expect from the goal scoring leaderboard. So if we go to the assists, we have Cole Palmer first. Now this is a bit unrealistic, for being honest. My model could prove me wrong and Cole Palmer could end up doing absolutely banging this week, but for me, Cole Palmer probably shouldn't be top. Salah at second, okay, that's realistic. Bruno Fernandes again, maybe as a bit unrealistic. Kuna, Cliver, Iwobi, Mbuemo, and then we have the clean sheets one, which is a bit meh. Again, minutes here is absolutely skewed. Forest doing way too well than they probably should be doing, but good to see Newcastle at 0.5, which is exactly where we'd expect them. If we scroll down a small bit to the bar chart where I have the teams this week. Now, again, because this is off the cuff, I just wanted to represent this on stream. This is missing Spurs for some reason. I don't know what has happened or what's gone wrong. But if we look at it real quick, Newcastle at 0.5. Okay, Forest at 0.49. Very unrealistic. Fulham at 0.45. Chelsea at 0.39. Bournemouth at 0.38. Liverpool at 0.34. And then so on and so forth. Then we have the cards, which is kind of brutal. I'm not going to lie. I'm not even going to show you that. Bonus points, which are quite complex. Because I don't have all the routes to bonus points, as you know, bonus points in FPL are quite hard to predict unless you have every single metric. But yeah, I have in front of you what the 1.46 represents is the chance. For example, let's just say they played Salah played 1,000 times versus Spurs. He'd average at 1.46 bonus points. So yeah, and then we have the total points metric, which is probably the most important. We've got a nice little bubble chart here to show you the expected points. And this chart isn't too bad, if I'm being honest. 9.19 expected points for Salah. Again, it just adds up the columns. So it adds up the goals and converts that into points. The assists, the clean sheets. Again, Salah should probably have a metric here for clean sheets. But for simplicity's sake, I didn't do 1 point for midfielders. Not yet, anyway. And then it adds the bonus points, and it takes away the clean sheet, the card probability. Sorry. So basically, I've made a linear optimizer, and essentially what that is you give it parameters, and it picks the best team for you. So we have my own model that has picked the best team in terms of what my model thinks, which I think is really cool. And in front of you, I've got a chart of the 11 players. Um, what is the linear optimizer? Essentially, you give a parameter, so 100 million team value, pick the best players in each position. So you tell it, I want 2 goalkeepers, I want 5 defenders, I want 5 midfielders, I want 3 attackers. And then it runs this optimizer using Pulpa, I believe, and that basically runs through all the iterations and picks. So what I'm fairly sure it does is it goes and picks Salah as the first player in the team, and it will go and pick the rest of the team, and it will compare that with millions of other teams and say which team is going to come out with the best points. So it's actually quite cool. Now, if I zoom in, sorry if I'm going a bit quick, by the way. If I zoom in on the optimal team, it's not too far off of what you pick on a free hit, which I think is quite interesting. Yeah, the one player that shouldn't be here, and I swear to God, I've not snuck him in because I'm a Spurs fan, but it's Pedro Porro. I don't know how he's landed here. Again, this model is by no means optimal. It's just a cool way to see on this season's data what you can produce. And I've had a fun time producing it for my project. So, yeah, I do hope you find this interesting. I'm not boring you. But Leno, Trent, Robinson, Porro, Salah, Palmer, Diaz, Clever, Iwobi, Isaac, and Kuna. That is not far off of what I just showed you in my free hit team. And if I look at the graph again, here I have the expected points for each player. Isaac coming in at second, Salah at top. Again, this is sorted by, what is this sorted by? I think it's position, the biggest names. So if I sort this by expected points, there you go. So even the AI has Spurs voice. Fuck's sake, I can't escape it, man. But yeah, this team is expected 45 points, and that is without captain. Sakib says you should go with this team since it's your model. Yeah, I would love to do that, but the only thing about it is I can't have Paro in there. Chai AI. So yeah, that is my model. Do let me know if you're interested. Do give me a text, because again, it's not optimal. It's just a bit of fun and a project that I've been doing all year. It's why I've not been so active on YouTube or Twitter. But yeah, it's been cool. Again, fantasy football is something that I am of course passionate about, and it's been cool to do a project on it. So let me go back to my free hit team if I'm after boring all of you guys with my own model. What do I want to do? I don't know if I want to have Anthony Gordon or Harvey Barnes, if I'm being honest. I really don't know if I want to go there. I would much prefer have a Palmer this week. I think the one I want to go for is probably a Diaz. Even if Gakpo is projected to start up top, I don't mind having Diaz. I mean, alternatively, I could go with a Iwobi or a Bone, but I just feel like... Look, I definitely want Kluivert. Sorry, there's a team for anyone that's wondering. I want Welbeck, Isaac, and Kuna are certains for me. 3 home fixtures, 3 guys on penalties. I want those for sure. Salah, Palmer, certains. Kluivert, certain. So it's one other midfielder and then Alter in the defence. You know what? For now, I'm going to leave in Jota. Let me put in Diaz actually for now, just for the time being. And we will alter it as I just need some more time to think. I feel like that looks a bit better. I don't know if I want to go Pope instead of Leno. Where are we? Artemis says, actually, would you do a test with next season with an account only using Chai AI? So the thing about it is, I think this was quite interesting to show it to you. You know, a lot of the models we see online, models get quite a bit of criticism in fantasy football, and I mean, fair enough. Like, everyone plays the game differently. And anyone that is subscribed to me, and it's the reason you guys probably follow me, is because I don't use models. I always make predictions based on what I think, based on what I see. And I just think it's funny when someone like me goes and makes a model in fantasy football to an audience who's probably has no interest about models or the analytics side. Maybe you guys do, and I'm completely wrong, but you know, I think it's quite cool to mix my worlds and, you know, show you that I understand the power of how good a model can be, you know, especially making one, seeing what features go into it. It's just not my style. And I don't think it should get hate when the analytic guys do it. The one thing I would say is, you know, people flat out copying the models. I mean, it's not for me. You know, it's quite boring. Why would you do that on a thing like football? You know, have a bit of fun with it. The reason we play fantasy football is to have a bit of fun with it. Do something on a sport that we love. Fair enough if you want to win money from your mini leagues or whatever, but it's never about that for me. And I just enjoy picking my team on 11 and showing, you know, I think a player is going to do well, backing up my opinions by choosing that player, and then maybe the next week they actually might do well, and I can come back and say, look, I told you so. And a lot of people mightn't like that, but if you're about picking the optimal team, be sure to use a model. To answer your question, next season, will I use this to make predictions? I mean, I could do. The only thing is FPL don't allow you to have more than one account, so I can't say I'm going to make a burner or else I'll get banned. Unless they give me some other things. But going back to what I was saying, you know, when someone makes a personal project and makes their own picks based on a model, I think that's really interesting. Not to slate anyone, but when you use this model that everyone can use and predict their best team on a week-to-week basis, I mean, it's less interesting if I'm showing it on stream. But I think the fact that I've made it, it's made it quite interesting. And I could do it next season. It is a bit of effort to run, I'm not going to lie. And to keep updating it. But let's see. That's why I follow you, always a bit different and trusting your gut. Yeah, absolutely. It's what the model doesn't have is my gut. And maybe there's a way to implement that. What are your thoughts on Murphy captain? I don't love it, Paul. I just don't see why you wouldn't do it on an Isaac or a Salah instead. Again, and that's not to say Murphy can't outperform him, but Murphy will probably get less minutes this week, in my opinion, than he has in last week's. Why am I not seeing Jose Sa in drafts? Jose Sa, sorry. Because people probably have 8 Nori and they won't want to double up. Hi Choi. Start one of Mbuemo or Clover. I'd be starting Clover. And congratulations for whoever is getting married. Is it worth for a -4 to play with 10? It depends who the -4 is for, Alex. Jonathan Shirley says, that is so much work. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Who's the best captain this week if you're chasing rank? To be honest, I still think Isaac is the best captain. So whether or not if I was chasing rank, I'd still probably captain Isaac. I can already see Solanke double digits now that you don't have him. Yeah, that'd be fucking typical, wouldn't it? Last week, of course, we had Solanke on bench boost and how shit that was. I'm not even going to go through it. Pickle follows her gut more over the egg and she is smashing it. Yeah, absolutely. Great manager. Start 2 of Alanga, Evan Nilsson, Bruno and Kluivert. It would be Kluivert for me and then probably Evan Nilsson. Okay, let's do a little scroll on Twitter. We have over an hour to go in the deadline stream. I do hope you're enjoying the stream. I can't speak. Do me a favor and hit that like button if you are enjoying so far. I do appreciate you guys coming and joining my stream. I know there are a few who are not streaming this week. So do let me know if you're coming from one of those places like FPL Era or FPL Raptor. Do me a favor. Do share my link on Twitter if you want to support me. Are you not tempted by Iwobi? I did think about it this week, but there are a few players who I'd rather have than Iwobi. Choi, Murphy or Barnes? Miss you on Ultras, mate, says John Bolton. Good to see you, John. Hope you're well. If I could choose between Murphy or Barnes, it would probably be Barnes. Now, saying that, I think both of those would be subbed off around 75 minutes. And again, that is a gut opinion, so I wouldn't trust me on that. It's just my own thoughts. I'm just scrolling on Twitter to see if we have anything interesting. Strand Larson over Kuna? Nah, no chance for me. And no worries, Franek. Thank you for joining the stream. Okay, looks like nothing interesting on Twitter. Okay, do let your questions in chat. I'll get back to as many as possible. What defender would you bring in not on free hit? So this is not something I've had to think about. Let me quickly bring up FPL team. And let's have a look at the fixture ticker to see who we'd want going forward. If I wasn't on free hit. I forget people are not on free hit. Kind of crazy. Let's do my team ID. Okay. Ooh, they changed the colors here. Interesting. Who would I bring in if I was not on free hit? A defender. I would probably bring in... Man, that's tough. There are no good options here, to be honest. I mean, you could go with a Bournemouth defender. Don't love it, though. Either Newcastle defender, so maybe a Trippier, or a Bournemouth. I don't even know if I bother bringing in a Bournemouth defender. Maybe if you can bench him next week, I'll go Bournemouth. Yeah, Southampton and Leicester down 1 in difficulty. That's interesting that they updated this. Usually it was just this light green to represent the best fixture, but now they've implemented this dark green fixture, which is quite cool. Where am I? Spurs now a green fixture. I didn't even cop that. Fuck's sake. Oh my god, that's so weird to see. That's probably why they've added it, because now United and Spurs are green fixtures, and the shit teams, well, very shit teams like Southampton and Leicester are dark green. Interesting to see Ipswich are not dark green. Sabo on a differential over Diaz. I don't mind Sabo. Again, I don't love him. I think I just much prefer Diaz. Diaz is way too template, says Billy. I don't know if he is, though. I really don't know if Diaz is going to be too template. Yeah, so I hope that answered your question on which defender I'd go with. Again, you're not exactly spoiled for choice, though. Bench 1 of Kluivert, Mbeumo, Diaz, Wood, Kuna. Let me quickly zoom in on my team. This kind of looks a bit shit on stream. Kluivert, Mbeumo, Diaz, Wood, Kuna. Who to bench? Mbeumo. Let's do a poll. What's the best way to do this? Which won't you own? I think this is a good way to do it. Wood, Raul, Welbeck. I feel like those are the 3 in contention. I feel like that's a good poll. Let me know. Derek O'Reilly, as usual, in here, dropping in before the end of the stream. It says Spurs for the Europa. Come on, you Spurs. Let's not speak about Spurs. Let's keep that for another time. Currently in the semi-final of European competition. We're currently sitting at like 16th. It's quite interesting. Do you know at the start of the season where you see those polls? Would you rather finish 16th and win a trophy, or finish top 4? And now we're in a position where we could win a trophy and finish 16th. It just would be Spurs to do. Again, I'm not going to speak about it too much because, yeah, we'll just leave that for another time. We'll come back to it in the second leg. All 3 says Sakib. What? No, it can't be all 3 because that means you're going without Isaac. There's no way you've got all 3. My dilemma: no free hit, Solanke to Wood, 10 players, or Sarr to Mbeumo, or Elanga. Worried about minutes being managed for Nottingham Forest, and also Solanke being rested. I don't think Solanke will be rested again. That's what I'd say on Solanke. Sarr to a Newcastle midfielder would be a bit nicer, I think. Save free hit for Gameweek 36/37? No, I don't think so. A Spurs United final would be hilarious. Yeah, maybe we can make it the 4th time beating them this season. No, joke. I'm kidding to United fans. I'm sorry. Basically, I've got a bit of hatred for the United guys because I've got a bet on with a United fan about who's going to win the Europa League, Spurs or United. Essentially, at the start of the season, the bet was who's going to finish higher at the end of the season, Spurs or United. And then Spurs and United ended up having some of the worst seasons in history. So we ended up changing it to who's going to win the Europa League, Spurs United. Now, obviously, I was the front runner in wanting to change it because, I mean, the likelihood of Spurs in the league finishing ahead of United, I think, was less likely in comparison to United also not winning the Europa League against that leg against Bilbao. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think about that bet and who you fancy for it. I assume a lot of people would fancy United because, again, they've been here a few times in the Europa League. Have you got the hotel booked for Bilbao? I'm going to book the hotel for Bilbao to start lighting fireworks outside the United hotel so I can win my bet. But other than that, no, I heard it's like over $1,500 to book a hotel in Bilbao. I'm fairly sure. Don't quote me. Don't bully the United fans. They already have nothing to believe in. Yeah, I mean, you have the Europa League like Spurs, so I'm in the same boat. Liam Walsh as well. I apologise, man. Sakib says, I'd happily take a draw against Spurs tomorrow to win the league. No, you wouldn't. No Liverpool fan is winning the league off a draw against Spurs. Yeah, no chance. Liverpool at Anfield are going to be out for blood. They're going to want to smash us and win the title on a high note, in my opinion. Now, this is a good poll because it's currently split 1/3, 1/3. Again, Welbeck only 30%, but Wood 35%, Raul 35%. Do vote on that. I'm interested. Yeah, no, I feel like that is a tight poll though, because I feel like those are the three that people will be picking from. I feel like Kuna and Isaac are almost must for me. I don't see why you wouldn't go Kuna and Isaac. Some people voting for Welbeck just to distribute the poll a bit better. The year already being too rough. Don't need another rinsing. Yeah, I know, Liam. Imagine. Okay, let's do another little scroll on Twitter. Let's see what people are doing. I'm really tempted to double up on Chelsea with Sanchez and Cucurella. I feel like that could be a nice way to differentiate myself. Just joined late. Could you go over again your thinking on Isaac captain? To be honest, there wasn't much thinking other than he's playing against Ipswich at home. And they're probably going to win like 4+0, I want to say. Especially with how good they've been in recent weeks. Only one Wolves asset versus Leicester. Yeah. I don't really want to bank on Wolves, to be honest. I'd rather evenly distribute some of my attackers. Morning Shine, no Aït-Nouri. Yeah, I just transferred him out for Trippier. Trippier is a better asset than Aït-Nouri this week. No doubt about it. Why don't you try risk with your captain? Well, the only other risk I could go with is Salah, and I mean, he's just as good as Isaac this week. I think someone that is underrated is Palmer. Now, Palmer has been shitty in recent weeks. I'm not trying to deny that. But in a given week versus Everton, even just by knowing how good of a player he can be, I'm not going to try to back it up with any stats or make any excuses for it, but I feel like he could do well this week, and he's why he's in most people's team, because like we know how good he can be. If Kuna doesn't start, will he get subbed in? Well, I'm sure he's going to start. I'd be very surprised. Morning Shy, Chess Econ. Good to see you, my man. Oh snap, it looks like my chat is not working. Why is that? Okay, no, it's back. How about Sessegnon? I just don't see why you'd go with Sessegnon over Robinson. Robinson gets just advanced from a fullback position, in my opinion. I think one player that is missing here is maybe Chris Wood. But I do think that game will be quite tight. And Brentford are a physical team, so maybe they'll be able to contain Chris Wood. Let me look at something real quick. StatMoose. Salah versus Tottenham. Let's have a look at that. From what I'm thinking, Salah has a decent record versus Spurs. Let's look in recent years. Even. Balls. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, okay. Salah versus Tottenham. In his last 5 games, he has 6 goals. Wow. Yeah, it's not great, to be honest. How do I look at home fixtures, or is this filtered by home fixtures? Home. Am I blind? Mohamed Salah versus Tottenham. Mohamed Salah has 11 goals and 4 assists and 16 appearances in Tottenham versus Tottenham in his career. Now, how do I filter by home? Sorry, guys, I'm terrible. I don't know how. I can't do this. Anyway, that's irrelevant. He does quite well against Tottenham. That's all you need to know. Why not own all three? Because you probably need Isaac. How will Gordon impact Murphy/Barnes? I imagine it will take 15 minutes off both if he doesn't start. Just decided Raul over Welbeck with a coin flip. Fair enough. Who did you end up with, Daniel? Let me know. I'm intrigued. I hope Romero taunts Salah as an Isaac captainer. Yeah, he could do. They'll probably be subbed off early though. Choi, bro, give me your thoughts on Evan Nilsson over the 3 strikers on your poll. Thanks, mate. I would just rather not double up on... Well, so I would prefer Cliver over Evan Nilsson. That's the first thing. And then I wouldn't want to double up with Bournemouth. Even though United have been poor. I prefer not to double up. Raul over Evan Nilsson. Is this the Southampton factor? Yes, I would say so. Can you spin the wheel? Oh, we're bringing back the wheel. Let's go. Spin the wheel. It's been a hot minute since we had one of these. Who is this for? This is for Chess Econ. This is how I know you're a real one. So, let's spin the wheel on Wood, Raul, Welbeck, Evan Nilsson. Wood. Wow, this is a breathtaking game week when we're doing spin the wheel on Wood, Raul, Evan Nilsson, and Welbeck. Oh, Lord. Evan Nilsson. Okay. This is for Chess Econ. Best luck. And by the way, this is what my streams are about for anyone that's not a regular here. That is so boring. I'm so sorry, Chess Econ, but there you go. Anyway, there is the wheel for you, Chess Econ. I hope the optimal wheel has made a good decision for you. How's it going, Shy Daniel? Good to see you, Daniel. I'm well. D Jenkins says, and if Gordon starts, would it be ahead of Murphy or Barnes? It would be ahead of Barnes, I imagine. Iwobi or Cliver? Cliver, easily. Paul says, yes, the wheel. No worries, Chess Econ. Okay, let's do a bit more of tinkering. Liam Walsh says, going to captain Diaz this week, I think. Still deciding Cliver versus Barnes or double Newcastle defence. What do you think? I think I could end up with either a double Newcastle defence or another Newcastle attacker instead of Diaz. Let me quickly look through the list of players. Is there anyone I'm missing that could do quite well this week? Let me quickly bring back up Rob T. Actually, let's scroll on Twitter for a second again just to refresh the timeline. Without an interesting... Let's see what other people are doing. Okay, no, nothing interesting. Where are we? Let's look at Rob T. And let's go back to the goal projections and see if we're missing anyone that could do quite well. Should I sell Saka for Mbeumo? No. Choi, is that an idea for Bruno this week? I was thinking about it, Alex Fernandez. I was thinking about Bruno, but the thing about it is, because of minutes, I think, he doesn't feature anywhere near the top 30, which is mad. Like, if you look at the players who are ahead of him, you got the likes of Neto, Bowen, Fulkrug, Solanke versus Liverpool away. So, I don't like it. Is there anyone we're missing then? I mean, a United attacker other than Bruno, maybe a Højlund. Would I prefer a Højlund over... Who's on penalties if Bruno Fernandes is not on the pitch? I'm curious. It's definitely not Højlund, but... Højlund up there. Gakpo, Evan Nilsson, Barnes, Gordon, Cliver, Vardy. Jamie Vardy. No one talking about Jamie Vardy before he gets relegated. Ian says Jota could be deadly today. I think you're right. If he does, like, the thing about Jota is though he could be deadly for 60 minutes, and that's not to say he can't do damage in 60 minutes. But if you're handing me 60 minutes Jota or 90 minutes Kluivert, for example, I'm taking Kluivert all day versus United. Mitoma, March. Mitoma's not bad this week for sure. West Ham is a decent fixture. Mitoma. Xerxes. Is he not injured? No. I think the ones I like that I don't have. Potentially Mitoma. An Asian brother. Get him involved. Other than Mitoma, I think Chris Wood could be nice. See, I got Welbeck though. I don't need to double up on Brighton. Now, doubling up could make it a bit bolder. See, I could do Diaz to Mitoma. And that's back in Brighton versus West Ham more than Liverpool versus Tottenham. And if we go back to a Rob T graphic, Liverpool are projected 3 goals this week in comparison to Brighton, who are projected 2. So, I mean, from that perspective, does it make sense? I don't know. I really don't know. Adam Sousa says, good luck this week, Chai. Have any plans for for content next season? Thank you for what you do, mate. So, again, the reason the content has been very limited this season is because I've been busy with college and moving house. I would love to do way more content next season. I'd like to do a bit of short form content and be a bit more consistent with videos like we were at the start of the season. I'd love to do 2 weekly videos and a deadline stream and post TikToks, Instagram Reels, short form content like that on a weekly basis. That way I can keep you posted on other platforms. Because if I miss a week on Twitter, people are not up to date about what I'm doing. And I don't know if you care about my own team, but you know, it's cool to keep you posted if that's what you're interested in. I think Ericsson, if he's on the pitch, yeah, Ericsson. Imagine I had Ericsson in my free hit team. I'd be absolutely slandered on Twitter. Not like anyone cares, but you know what I mean. What other fixtures can we look at this week? Chelsea versus Everton at home. Let's look at how their clean sheets have been. Oh, balls. Not Eric Dyer, Everton. Can I see fixtures? Question mark? History? I don't know how to do this. Never mind, guys. Never mind. I can't be arsed going through that. Where are we? Kluivert has a better away record. 2 goals and assists at home. 10 goals and 5 assists away from home. Paul, that's an interesting stat. That wouldn't put me off in a given week putting in Kluivert, to be honest. Cess versus Cucurella. Nah, I prefer Cucurella. Chai, why no Murphy? I think with Gordon back, I don't think Murphy's minutes will be as good as we've seen in recent weeks. In my opinion. Again, that is just my there's nothing backing that, so I can't even try to convince you. No Raul, John Ross. No Raul. Okay, what am I going to do to this team then? Let's do Mbuemo out. Let's do Leno out. I think I'm quite happy with Trippier, Robinson, Cucurella. I want to put in Sanchez. I don't know why. I think it's a gut feeling thing. Again, not in solid back in that. How have Everton looked in recent weeks? Didn't score against City, Forest, Liverpool. I'm happy with Sanchez. Gives me another slot for a Newcastle asset. Do I want to go with Anthony Barnes, Jacob Murphy? Did I just say Anthony Barnes? Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon, or Jacob Murphy? It's been a long week, guys. 9.9 million bank, so I can take my pick. I'm not going Bruno because he probably will start, but he will be subbed early. I'm not going to go Bowen. I just think there are better assets. Okay, let's do a poll. I think that's a good way to do it. Let's do Barnes, Gordon. I can't imagine anyone's going Gordon, but I'm going to put him there anyway. And Jacob. Barnes easy. Gordon shy. Gordon. That's what I'm saying. Anthony yeah, let's go in the middle and go Anthony Barnes. Oh, Lord. I feel like Barnes will be the most popular one. I can't imagine Murphy will be. I'd be surprised. Early kickoff. Never doubt Jacob. Gordon be the most choi move. Yeah, Gordon was the most choi move until I done it for 3 weeks in a row. He didn't play a single game. So, I mean, you're not wrong. It is probably the choi move, but I don't think so, Chief. I don't think so. Oh, who do I want to put in this slot? I don't know. No, Kluivert will start. Let me quickly put back in Mbuemo so I can just look at my team for how it is. Yeah, so this is how it looks right now. Double Chelsea defense. Trippier. I could be bold and not go Robinson and go another Newcastle defender. Southampton odds versus Fulham. Fulham have 38% chance clean sheet, which is not bad. But that's just as good as Wolves, who play Leicester, Liverpool, who play Tottenham, and it's not far off Brighton, who play West Ham. So, I mean, it's nothing crazy, but I suppose we're going Robinson for the attacking threat. I feel like Robinson is so obvious that me going without him wouldn't actually even make sense. Oh, God. I don't know what to do, man. I'm thinking Pope for keeper. Yeah, so I could go with Pope in goal. Or I could go... Who else is going to start for Chelsea? Let me go to the transfers page. Who else we got for Chelsea? I'm not tripling up. I'm just saying for reference. Why can't I filter by team? Oh, there you go. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Chelsea. Trevor Chalobah. Oh. Too many options in a blank game week. I suppose it's good to have options. I won't be going Trevor Chalobah. I'll tell you that for free. Levi Colwell. Nah. Okay. Let me go back to my own team. So, for anyone that's just joined us, here's the free hit team. 162 of you in here. Do me a favor, hit that like button while you're here. Do appreciate you joining me on this Saturday evening. No, Saturday morning. Murphy, I'm sure he bangs. Definitely Trippier for the upside. Trippier is staying in my team for sure. Andrew says, hi Chai, this has been the worst FPL season ever. I want to take at least 3 high risk differentials on free hit to mend my rank. What players should I consider? I'm going to go Barnes, I think. I would say getting the Liverpool attacker off Jota, Gakpo, Diaz. That would be a nice differential. Spurs are going to concede, without a doubt. I think if you can get the defence right by doubling up on whether it's Newcastle, going double Newcastle will be differential to double Newcastle attack. I mean, that's another thing. And for example, I'm trying to differentiate myself by going double Chelsea defence, who odds-wise look quite good. Early kickoff, that's the only thing, and Chelsea have been quite poor, I'm not going to lie, but there's something in this fixture for me that I have a gut feeling about. Again, I'm not going to try back it up. There's not much reason behind it. But again, if you are enjoying the stream, looks like we've got another super chat from Nick. He says, is Jose Sa guaranteed to start? Nick, what I'd say about that is, regardless of if he's guaranteed to start or not, have a goalkeeper on the bench that will just sub in, because he won't be subbed on. Is he guaranteed to start? I would say he's likely to start. Nothing in this life is certain. And sometimes in the life, yeah, no, I wouldn't say he's certain, but I'd put my money on it. Kluivert and Evan Nilsson double up. No, I prefer a few other attackers than Evan Nilsson, personally. Is Bruno a no-go? I wouldn't say he's a no-go. I would just say he's probably going to get 60 odd minutes. I probably expect him to start, if I'm being honest. Is Kuna going to start? I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you for certain, but again, if we look at since he's been back, 90 minutes versus United, and I don't see why he wouldn't start. Again, maybe I should probably think about that a bit more, but that's what I'm going off. Is a minus 12 worth it for 11 players? No. I mean, no, probably not. I think the most important thing this week is going to be the defense and what people do. Choi, differential game week related question. I have my assistant manager left. Would you use it in 35 or 36? 36, 37, 30. I feel like 36 would be cool, because in the last game week of the season you could have a chip being played. Would you go Bruno, Mbeumo, or Murphy? Probably Murphy. Pope and James. Fucking forgot about Reese James. Hold on. I forgot he existed. More than choice, says Mark Parker. I can't speak, man. I hope you're well. I'm good, man. Thank you for asking. James. What is his mins like? Minutes played 45, 76, 8th. Surely can't have Reese James, can I? Reese James and Pope. James and Pope. Lads. lads. Liam, my boy, good to see you. Gabriel, no worries, man. I'm not going to put Reese James and Cucurella for throwback. I miss Ben Chilwell and Reese James, if I'm being honest. How do Reese James minutes look? Who's your differential captain? Mohamed Salah. I don't even know if that's differential at this point, though. Sounds so boring, I know, lads, I know. And a lot of people have the same traits, but it's the little differences that you're going to have to see with these teams. And for me, it's not having Raul. It's going Isaac over Salah captain. It's having double Liverpool. It's having Cucurella and Sanchez. You know, I'm not going to come out here and have Alex Iwobi, Raul and Sessegnon for the sake of it, if you know what I mean. I'm late. Can you recommend a keeper? I mean, Pope. I'm kind of tempted to go Pope, James and Cucurella Trippier. Shout out to John Ross, who suggested Reese James. You know, if... Let me just quickly look at Chelsea. Chelsea. No Fulham, maybe differential. They've been shite. That's what I was thinking. You know, it is a good fixture, but they've not been great. Let me look at their fixtures coming up. Surely James start. No gusto. That's what I'm thinking, John. You're after planting the seed in my head. But do they need him on the 1st of May, which is in 30 days? Had September, April, 30 days. So 3 days time. Did he play against Legia Warsaw? Reese James. No, he didn't. He got rested. Oh, he did. He played CDM. 90 minutes CDM. Sorry, guys. I'm just scouting out Reese James. I don't know how I've come to this, but Reese James lineups. Sub 45 mins. Surely James starts next Thursday. Oh, it is next Thursday. Fulham only have one. Now you're convincing me, man. Let's work a bit of magic, will we? Let's go a bit differential. This is what the stream has been crying out for. No, I swear I'm not just doing it for the sake of it, though. I actually think this could look quite good if it pays off. I just don't know what minutes I expect James to be, but after getting 45 minutes in the last game, he's fit enough to play 90, as we saw. What do we think about that, chat? Wherever it's... Yeah, no, that pronunciation was cat. You don't fancy Iwobi in your team? Nah, not really, to be honest. Not mad about Iwobi in comparison to the likes of a Kluivert. Pope in James. That's going no double. James is a trap. When has James not been a trap in FPL? I can't answer it because he's always been, but... I did say the way to differentiate this week is... Didn't Maresca say his minutes will be managed? Yeah, but if he gets subbed at 60 minutes, I'm happy. Maybe James is too bold. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm being an idiot. Let me look at your man's minutes. Has he played in the league? He's played very little minutes. Mate, now Lavia's back. James Ministris Maresca was only playing because Lavia is back. I forgot about Lavia. Lavia is indeed back. I'll super chat if you win next week when I'm in the Philippines. Fancy a wager. You have Kluivert, I have Iwobi. Whoever scores most has £50. I don't know if you think I'm minted, TC. I'm doing this FPL from the goodness of my heart. I ain't got £50 to wager with you, my man. Unless you want to make it a one-way wager where I give you nothing and you get my FPL content. Maybe, yeah, I probably should think about James a bit more. Is maybe a small bit silly. You know what, though? I think Pope is here to stay. Or is he here to stay? Choi, what workout split do you do, says MJ? I do upper, lower. I'll quickly run you through. On upper, I do muscle ups, 4 sets, and then I do weighted pull ups. I do bench press, cable row, incline dumbbell, lateral raises, standing bicep curls, preacher curl, and then lower hamstring, seated hamstring curl, barbell squat, leg extension. I don't do calves because I genetically have them. And yeah, that's my split. Saying that, I haven't trained legs in a few weeks because, you know what I mean, but that's whatever. Thoughts on Tyreek George? What? Here, okay, let me get rid of James. I'm being silly. Sorry, guys. I know it was exciting. Now, for Reese, okay, who said that? Where are we? We're gonna... Who said this? T. If James... if James goes and bags, you have to revolute me 50 quid. Choi seems jacked. I wouldn't say jacked. Definitely have a nice bit of muscle mass on me for my height and weight. Definitely not jacked is not the term I'd use. I would say athletic looking. James, select replacement. I don't know what to do, man. Not a lot of people. You know what? Virgil bullet header versus Tottenham. I'm not going to put him in just because I'm saying that. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. What about Trent? I don't know if Trent will start. Again, he did come on against Leicester, but... Actually, maybe Trent will start with this being a title winning game. Even if he does start, though, he will be subbed early. Why? What do you... Larson over Kuna? I don't know what you mean by that, but Kuna, if he starts, you know how good he can be. He's so good for bonus penalties as well. Sorry, I'm just playing around with this. Here, before I do my own team, let me go back on Twitter. I don't know. I kind of just want to be a bit bolder and not go Aït-Nouri or Robinson. Konate is doing Kluivert and Buemo Welbeck 3 free transfers. Interesting. Bro, Evan Nilsson for Kuna is the real deal. Fair enough, go for it, but I think I prefer Kuna. Personally. That's just me though. Do your thing. Okay, you know what, if I ever got a Reese James leak, you better know he's going to be in my team. But yeah, no, you're right. That is probably a bit silly to do. Maybe Colwill though. Colwill doesn't have upside, but if I'm really going to be differential, like I said, and doubling up on defenses. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, Doyle. William, sorry. Might get Bradley. Nah, I wouldn't be going Bradley. But I think the likelihood is that Trent is the one that starts. Let's see what my model is saying. Yeah, maybe I probably should have some Fulham defense. It's interesting that I picked Iwobi. Like, Iwobi is one of those picks where, like, you know, people on Twitter speak about differentials. Iwobi's up there. But the model has gone and put Iwobi in it. I think that's kind of crazy. I think I'm locked and loaded, Chai. My Baldy Sanchez is in. Valid. I like that. Do you think United score? Probably, to be honest. A lot of people speak about if you're chasing, but I don't think anything changes just because you're chasing. Start Estepinian or Milenkovic? I'll be starting Estepinian. TC, if you want to send me money, I mean, go for it. Iwobi can get a 15-pointer or a 1-pointer. Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely not consistent. I wouldn't say that. I really don't know who I want to put in this last lot. I love the idea of doubling up with Chelsea, I'm not going to lie. It's just Colwell's lacking upside. I would love if Reese James was fit. Now, Amar says go with Livramento. And you know what? I don't mind that. I could go with Livramento and Sanchez. Livramento and Sanchez are Pope and James. I mean, that's probably safer. Keep Sanchez. Yeah, exactly. Let me try that on for size and see what it's saying. Can't wait to end this week with no points for my defense, but that's what free hit's about, isn't it? And we can't go much further down than 285k, can we? I'm joking, we absolutely can. It's gonna happen, but Livramento, I think he's a shout for sure. That looks good, man. Have you been watching the season, mate? Chelsea are shite. Chelsea are shite. But I'm taking Chelsea for this 1 week versus Everton. And I think he can get a clean sheet. George, good to see you, my man. I didn't know you were here. Yeah, Chelsea are shite, to be fair, but... Matt Dawson says, midfield pick is definitely most interested on Kluivert at the moment, but Bowen and Buemo are really swaying me. I'm not too high on Buemo this week. I think it is a tough fixture at the end of the day. Bowen, not bad. Not bad, not amazing. But like, I can understand if you want him there instead of a Diaz or Kluivert. Okay, so how is my team differential? I've got no Fulham. I've got double Chelsea defence. I've got Welbeck instead of Raul. I've got Kuna instead of Larson. And double Liverpool attack. Now, I don't know what teams you've been seeing, but in my opinion, my team is a bit different to what's out there. Buy Murphy and bench Kluivert, or buy Pope and bench Saw. I already have double Newcastle and Aït-Nouri. Buy Murphy and bench Kluivert. I would just buy Pope and bench Saw. I don't know why you would not just start Kluivert. Andrew says, I'm 100% chasing. Overall rank season is over. And 110 points. Other half her first FPL season and she doesn't follow football. Oh man, you're not 110 points behind your other half. Saying that, mine would probably outdo me as well. She doesn't follow football. Have picked a player she doesn't have to chase. That is mad. I don't know what your question is, Andrew. Sorry. Why Welbeck overrule? I'm low-key tempted to do the same. Welbeck, because no João Pedro and penalties. Are you playing free hit? Yeah, my free hit is active. Cool, yeah. Okay, so now the question is Diaz, Kluivert. Diaz, Kluivert. Am I happy with those two? I mean, I am. I'm not gonna lie, I am happy, but could I be greedy and do something a bit different? That's another question. Jota. 60-minute Jota could... Oh, I had no question. Okay, fair, Andrew. No, that is mad though. Fair play to her. She's grilling you. Diaz, I like, because it's Tottenham. Wood over Kuna if he wasn't on free hit, but I am on free hit. If Wood over Kuna, I mean, sure, I don't mind that. Why Palmer? In a given week, he can do it. No Sessegnon. Yeah, no Sessegnon. I'd rather back the teams. If Jota was playing 90 minutes, he'd be in my team. 100 million%. Strand Larson, Gakpo. Barnes, Gordon, Kluivert. I'm going to keep it as Kluivert. Kluivert is a stay. Luis Diaz is probably going to get the best minutes out of the three, I'd imagine. In my opinion. So you stay for now, Diaz. I think that's what I'm going to go with, guys. I think I'm fairly locked. 20 minutes until the deadline. Get your questions in here. I'll try to answer as many as possible. John Ross says, I'm going ballsy with James and Diogo Jota. Why not? That's what it's about, John. I love that spirit. Why is no one getting Chris Wood on free hit? Good question. Good question. Yeah, a lot of people speaking about Chris Wood. Well, for me, I think it's just, you know, the fixtures in comparison to Kuna. Okay, he's playing bottom half Leicester. And also, I feel like Welbeck has a case going for him. And especially when you look at, you know, a statistic like this, it kind of does make sense, I guess, to back it up. Other than that, no, Chris Wood is definitely a good option. But people seem to be favouring Raul over Chris Wood for this week, especially with no monies. Why no Wolves defence? Because I'm throwing all my eggs in one basket like an idiot. I'm backing the early kickoff for Chelsea. When you say it like that, I don't know why I'm doing no Wolves, to be honest. I can't give you a solid answer. Bench one of Kluivert, Gordon, Diaz, Salah, Iwobi. Gordon, I guess. Has to be Gordon. Now, saying that, if we got a leak that Gordon was going to start, Gordon would be in my team. I have no doubt. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Gordon started. Because in the last 3 weeks I owned him, fucking benched. And the 1 week where I don't own him and got rid of him, he'll probably start. If you're chasing, formation doesn't matter. Why Welbeck over Raul? I just think Brighton are a better attack than Fulham. Bro's name is Bro. One little refresh. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's probably not a great watch, me looking through my feed, but no wonder I didn't play more, because the last game I started the Premier League went well, and then suddenly... Makes no sense. What does this mean? What does this mean? I don't know. No wonder I didn't play more, because the last game I started in the Premier League went well, and suddenly... ... You know what? I can't wait to finish the week with the most points on free hit. It's going to be great. Some people tripling up on the Newcastle attack. Love that. I do love that. Sorry, guys. Who to bring in? Mbuemo, Palmer, Welbeck, Raul. Must choose one. Palmer. Is Darwin talking about the Villa miss? I don't know. I don't know. What does that mean? Probably that he's not playing, I guess. Don't know what way to take that. Where are we then? Nah, my team is so different in comparison to other people's teams. Very, very different. What is Fran doing? I'm curious. I always love to see what Fran is doing. I would compare myself to him in terms of picks. Oh, he's not on for it, is he? No, he's not. He's brought in Evan Nilsson and Buemo and Renan Aït-Nouri. Talking about not starting since Southampton, as Liverpool will pay 5 million if he starts. What's my Twitter, says Rex. My Twitter is choi_FPL. Fran, that's interesting. I haven't been so active on Twitter, by the way. Okay, enough. I've had enough of looking at other people's teams. What are we thinking of my shitty team? Chat, let me know. Is my team absolutely ass? It's missing Aït-Nouri, Robinson, Harvey Barnes, Jacob Murphy. Who else is it missing? Mbuemo, he's on the bench, I guess. Raul, Wood. Is Fulham triple up too far? I kind of want to put my eggs in one basket. If you go with the same thought process as I did, there's nothing wrong with it. I just prefer doubling up on the Chelsea defence for this early kickoff. Oh, midfield isn't great. Love your team on the same bandwagon. You poor cunt. You poor cunt. I am starving, lads. I'm so hungry. I like it. Maybe Raul in for Kuna. I could put in Raul instead of Kuna. The Min thing is actually kind of making me think. Because Raul is definitely 10 million% going to play 90 in my opinion. Unless he gets injury, of course. In comparison to Kuna, I can't say with certainty that he's going to get 90 versus Leicester. Not keen on Palmer. Everton have only conceded more than one goal in the last 7 games. Yeah, but I feel like Chelsea versus Everton is a decent game. Let me look at Chelsea. Again, I tried to do this earlier. I want to see recent results. Stat moves. Why is it doing that, man? I don't want to see games from 1998, man. Oh my god. Sack it again, lads. I'm sorry. Useless. Is Bone worth it? I mean, yeah, he's definitely not bad. I don't mind the Bone. Whether or not he's better than a Kluivert or Diaz, I don't know. I just have pictures of Diaz skipping past whoever's playing fullback today. Today? Not today. On Sunday. And I feel like I was trying to think of, is there any Tottenham players that I'd go with? And the answer is no, there is none. But if I had to, who would I go with? Probably wouldn't be Son. Let's look at Spurs. I'm just curious. Spurs fixtures. Who can we expect to be starting? Because I'm actually unsure who I think is going to start. Brendan Johnson. Again, Spurs can't get relegated anymore, so the pressure's gone. Oh, Lord. So we will be resting for the Europa League game. Tell. I was going to say Tell, but I'm actually unsure. I'm unsure if Tell is going to play. Probably, yeah, probably Tell though is most likely. Son will get minutes though. He will. If he's in the squad. Maybe Tell? No, I wouldn't go Tell at Anfield though, no chance. If it was at home, maybe. Tell has been kind of ass as well. Sack that. We have 10 minutes until the deadline stream is over. Do let me know any of your dilemmas with the remaining time. For the 150 guys that are in here, do hit that like button for me. Interesting to see the poll is 51% Barnes, 42% Jacob Murphy, and the odd 7% on Gordon. Let's end that poll. See if we can think of another poll to come up with, or if you have any suggestions on a poll that you want to do stick it in chat. Let me know. I'm curious to see what this Darwin Núñez post is about, if anyone has contextualized it. Someone said about having to pay him 5 million. Is this a response to Liverpool needing to pay 5 million to Benfica if he plays another league game? I don't know. Have you considered Neto? No, and I won't be. Not for me. Check my team. I tagged you. You know what? Because you've been so persistent in asking Rex, I'm gonna look at your team for you. And that's a very solid team. This is obviously a free hit. Yeah, see, in comparison to your team, we've actually went fairly different. I've got no Sessegnon or Aït-Nouri. You've got no Welbeck. You've got Bowen instead, and you have Murphy instead of my Trippier. Solid team though. Is Mateta selling Gameweek 35? I don't know. Boom, boom, boom. Mateta in the room has been absolutely on fire this season. I wonder is anyone going with Trent? Anyone on Trent? Start Trent or Cuckoo? I'll be going Cucurella. Trent will probably start, but I just don't know what his minutes looks like. I need to catch up a bit. Do you reckon I should captain Strand Larsen or Isaac instead of Salah? Isaac. I wouldn't give it captaincy too much thought this week. You have two really good captains. One against Tottenham and one against Ipswich at home for Isaac, the best striker in the world. Don't think it's too difficult. I'm going with Trent. Fair play, Mark. What do we think Trent's minutes are going to be, though? I'm going to say 65. 65. A start and 65. Why Mbeumo on bench? I just want to start Diaz and Kluivert over him. Are you locked in, Chai? I would say so. I don't think anything is going to change between now and deadline. I actually quite like to double up on defence rather than going. But I do feel like there's a chance Anthony Gordon can start. That would put me off. There's enough there to put me off Barnes. I'm not trying to tell anyone not to go with Barnes, by the way. It's just... yeah. Captain Diaz, what we saying? Sure. I mean, it's not bad. But with Jota back now, Gakpo probably lingering around. Maybe Diaz 70 minutes-ish? I don't know. Salah will probably play 90. 0 because Bradley's starting, you think? I'm going to go with 65 minutes and hope about a clean sheet. Fair. I've got Gordon in my team. Yeah, I don't love Gordon. I'm not going to lie. Again, only because he's let me down in recent weeks. He's fucking pissed me off. I'm not going to lie. I have the same front three but Raul. So you have a different front three. No, Raul is definitely a good pick. I could potentially even have Raul instead of Kuna. I don't know what's happening with my keyboard today. I'm just pasting random shit. Fair enough, Liam. Happens. That's tough, my guy. Says HI, why Cliver over in Buemo? United are significantly worse defence than Forest, and Bournemouth are a bit better than Brentford, I want to say. And penalties. Ryan Harvey says, Welb's nailed for you. I would say so. Even over Raul with no Fulham, or with no Muniz, I assume you mean. I'm not going to say he's more nailed, but I think he's just as good. Aiton Ori instead of Cucurella? No. I'm going to stack up on the teams rather than go for upside defenders. 3 Chelsea is crazy. Fucking no. Tell me about it, man. I don't know how I've ended up here either, but here we are. I took out Gordon. Fair enough, Mark. Barnes punt, man. Let's see. Barnes isn't even a punt anymore. Anyone on free hit, I feel like, will be going Barnes. Bench 1 of Kluivert or Iwobi. Have an Evan Nilsson starting up front. I would bench Iwobi. Why captain Isaac over Salah? I didn't give it much thought. I just saw Isaac playing at home to Ipswich, and every single home game and even away games are scoring 4 or 5 goals. So just didn't give it too much thought. And Liverpool, in comparison, have not struggled, but have scored less goals against lesser opposition in recent weeks. Who's likely to get more mins, Barnes or Murphy? I want to say Murphy. How should I toss on Sessegnon instead of Trippier? I just don't know why you'd go Sessegnon over Trippier. Better fixture because it's at home for Trippier. Trippier more upside. Sessegnon is playing on the wing, but I don't know. It's just Sessegnon. Being a Spurs fan, he's Sessegnon. I'm not trying to slate Sessegnon. Sorry, Sessegnon, if you ever hear this. I'd hate to ever criticise or hate on anyone. But I've watched the Spurs for years, and yeah, Sanchez is wank. I'm not trying to say he's good. I just mean, if I think Chelsea are going to get a clean sheet, Sanchez, Cucurella, there you go. Minutes. How's it going, Shai? Good to see you, Chewy FPL. My man, taking a -8 to field 10 already. Should I take a -12 to field 11? No, I wouldn't take a -12. Robert, good to see you. Good morning. Nice with a stream. Cucurella over Trent. Yes, only due to minutes. I think if Trent was guaranteed 90 minutes, he'd be in my team. I think. Play Diaz over Murphy. Yes, for me. I just like to stream. Keep up the good work. Thank you. That's tough, my guy. I appreciate it. I don't know how many likes we're on. 166 people in here. Let's see if we can break the 100 likes barrier. I don't know what we're on though, so do let me know in chat. Everton game some hard for a weak Chelsea. I don't get y'all. It's just at home to Everton. I don't think Everton are great attacking wise. To do something a bit different as well, if we look at the ticker from Rob T, they're 42% chance of clean sheet. It's not too far off. Neto should be a choice. Fair enough if he is. He's just not for me. Look at Sabo data against Spurs in reverse fixture. Check it. The thing about that is chess econ. It's one of those stats though. Like, I feel like I remember the goal or the chances he had versus Spurs, and it's the one where he was kind of pissing about backheeling it into the goal. I feel like the numbers will be inflated because of that. But yeah, fair enough if you want to go Szoboszlai because reverse fixtures in past games, but not for me. Am I locked? Yes. Is it worth having Robinson as a hedge? Double Newcastle and double Chelsea defence seems risky. It's what I'm going with though. It's the reason I'm going with. It's risky, but if it pays off and the likes of Aiton and Robinson don't do so well, I feel like that'll be the difference between a green and a red arrow for me this week. Again, it is bold, but why not do something a bit different? My suboptimal free hit, but optimal in my mind. 3 minutes until the deadline, lads. Get locked in and get your questions in. Let me do a scroll on Twitter to see if we get anything else. Pickle is locked in. Prass is locked in. Free hit team for blank game week. He's got Sanchez in goal, which I think is really interesting. He's got James on the bench as well. Oh, he knows what's up. Raul, Kuna, Isaac. It's actually quite similar to my own team, except he's got Jacob Murphy. See, he's got Jacob Murphy because he's worried about Barnes minutes, I assume. That's actually really close to my own team. FPL Raptor is locked in. Big man Bakar's locked in. He's also got double Newcastle and Sanchez. See, maybe it's the thing, lads. It's not just me. Cucurella, Sanchez. See, I'm not crazy. Good luck, everyone. I'm hoping your chips fail miserably. Any James leaks? Not that I know of. Chess Econ. Let me look up Reese James real quick, see if we get anything. Reese James. Are we going to get anything? I don't think so. Woby or Wood? Wood. I don't know, man. Anyway, guys. We've got a minute until the deadline. I don't know if Reese James is starting, nor do I care because he's not going in my team. Here is the team for blank game week 34. We've got double Chelsea, double Newcastle, Palmer in midfield, double Liverpool, Kluivert, Kuna, Isaac, captain, and Welbeck. It's going to be an interesting week. I don't want to watch the early kickoff because it's the early kickoff, and I have triple Chelsea. Lads, how have I ended up with triple Chelsea? Anyway, the deadline is indeed over. I hope you have enjoyed the stream, and before you go, please do me a favor and hit that like button. I really do appreciate you tuning in on a Saturday morning. It's good to see all of you that have joined me as usual, a lot of regulars, and best of luck this week. If you did enjoy the stream, hit that like button for me as usual. And as usual, lads, we will see you in the next.